Hi girls, I want to talk about guys, or more specifically, you guys, the phrase that is reaching epidemic proportions in the English-speaking world. When I wrote the encyclopedia Broadcasting It back in 1993, Broadcasting It was an encyclopedia on homosexuality in films, television and radio from 1923. I wrote a short paragraph, really, a couple of paragraphs, on the phrase, you guys. It apparently started being widely used in the First World War among men, guys, you see, hey you guys. But in 1930, there was a film, a comedy film, where a young woman sees two, as they used to say in those days, mannish looking women coming towards her, and she greets them with, hi guys. It's a joke, you see. They're not guys, they're women, but they look like men. Then in 1941 being a very important date in America because it was the year that America was gearing up for war, there were at least two big box office movies, Sun Valley Serenade and Sullivan's Travels, which included a scene where a group of men were with a woman and they were addressed by another man as you guys. Back in 1993, you guys was prevalent. I traced it to things like Leave It to Beaver in the 1950s, Sesame Street in the late 1960s, and shows such as Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, in which he addressed his parents as you guys. Little did I know that it would be so widespread in the 21st century. I actually call it the concrete cancer of language, along with no worries, whatever, like, cool, anything which is automatic, unthinking, zombified. To me, language is living, it's powerful, it's vivid, it's vital. I regard the use of the phrase you guys to mean you, women and men as somewhat akin to the bleaching of the Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef isn't just a barrier, it's a conduit through which all kinds of life comes through. It energizes, it oxidizes, so does language. And it's really important because language is thought, language is ideas. And particularly for those of us that are in the business of language, i.e. writers and journalists and public speakers, I think it behoves us to come up with something a bit better than you guys. Now, to explain, why don't I like you guys? I don't like it because it's dishonest. It pretends to be inclusive. It pretends to say, look, we're all the same, women are just as good as men, we're all equal. But hang on a minute. You guys, or you girls, if I were to go up to a mixed group of people anywhere, in a pub, in an office, in a hospital, and say, hi you girls, what do you think the reaction would be? Do you think that the men in the group would be happy that I address them, all of them, the men and the women, as you girls? Now logically, if you can say you guys to be inclusive, then you should also be able to say you girls. But wait, there's more. If I'm a girl and I'm heterosexual, well, I suppose I'm looking for a guy, aren't I? Or I'm living with a guy, or I'm married to a guy. But if I'm a guy, am I looking for a guy? Well, if I'm gay, yeah. But what if I'm heterosexual? Do I live with a guy, or do I live with a girl? Singular is different to plural in the world of you guys. Now, I'm a very constructive person. I'm not negative, and I am not saying you can no longer use guys. What I'm saying is, let's be a little bit more creative, shall we? So here are just a few suggestions. Girls, why not mix it? Sometimes you say, hi you guys, sometimes you say, hi you girls. Now, you could say that girls is very specifically feminine, but if you trace the history of the word, you realize that back in the good old 13th century, girl or girl meant a young person, a child. It did not mean a female person or a female child. It meant both genders. Now you could say that we need to strengthen the word girl because of all their history and all the inequality that women and girls have suffered. So let's go for girl. Oprah Winfrey loves that word, and I love it too. Girl. It's so strong. It's so powerful. Hi, girls. Okay, it's going to be difficult. I'm not kidding. It's not going to be easy to use girls, is it? Because you're going to get some very negative reactions, and you might even get a little bit of violence, which I don't think is going to be something I want to promote. So here are a few suggestions. Why don't we do a little bit of swapping around, mixing and matching? Why don't we use the word gay instead of guys? Hi, gays. Because you see, the word gay has changed. In my lifetime, it's really changed, because when I first went to those gay liberation meetings at the beginning of the 1970s, gay meant gay male, homosexual, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, the whole thing. It was actually all embracing. Just for a few glorious years, we had one tiny little carrier for all kinds of variety, because if you're bisexual, well, that's heterosexual, isn't it? And we always did leave a little door open for sympathetic heterosexuals. So let's have gay, shall we? What we'll have to do, of course, is to get every single homosexual person in the English-speaking world to sign a release form so that we agree that our word, gay, can now be used for everybody. I'm sure for a small fee, we'd be quite happy to do that. How about, well, let's look at Kinsey. Mr. Kinsey, Professor Kinsey. He studied the gall wasp for about 19 years before he got into the really important stuff in his career, which is to look at male and female sexuality back in the 1940s. And he said he discovered that it was possible for every person, every human being, to be bisexual. So why don't we say, hi, bis? That's good, isn't it? Because that includes everybody. That doesn't exclude anyone, like guys exclude. Okay, so you don't like gay and you don't like bi. Let's look at the species as a whole. Homo sapiens. So that's wise men, wise humans. Why don't we just say, hi, homos? And that brings everybody in, doesn't it? Not just the men, not just the women, not just the adults, not just the children, not just old people. It's everything, all embracing, inclusive. Let people come in. Don't push them away, push them out. You don't like homos? Let's go for mates. Mates, that's quite good. That's non-gender specific. Maybe playmates. Arthur Askey in the 1940s in England used to say, hello, playmates. I think it's really welcoming, don't you? You see, that's what I think language should be. It should not be rigid. It should not be arthritic. It should not be monochromatic. I think words like guys, whatever, cool are flat. They have no affect. It takes no energy to say them and really no thought. The vibration is very, very limited. So I'm going to suggest that we look around for some more inclusive words so that we don't end up in that very famous scene from Mae West's I'm No Angel at the beginning of the 1930s, when she sashayed in front of a group of men whose tongues were hanging out, and she said, hello, suckers. I don't want us to be suckers. I don't want us to be suckered in to a world where we don't use language for its very best purposes, which is continuity, expression, imagination, and communication. So, bye girls.